which I see you've experienced a little bit
quite
of, right?
a few of, yes.
All right.
We're almost there.
All right, let's go into the third category of casting for films and TV shows, and that
the
is
most important too.
You think is the next one coming up, right?
Right.
All right, and that is the star top billing area. Tell us about that now.
All right, depending on the stars or the talent that is hired as a recognizable top billing actor or actress may be, is depending on what kind of markets and ancillary rights your picture will sell worldwide. If you do a picture with no names, there's about a total of 1,200 to 2,000 films being made every 12 months now worldwide due to high definition technology in the camera industry to the scientific times.
Yes.
Now that there's so much films being flooded into the market that if you do not have a name in your film, the chances of you selling your film is very, very slim to none at all.
All right, let me ask
until
you this
you put
now.
a name in.
Let me ask you this. Now, by name, you mean somebody who is or has been or you believe will become a top billing or a star? Is that really what you mean?
Or been in over 100 feature films and is well recognizable, let it be Denzel Washington, Sylvester Stallone, or a major name.
I was going to ask you, to achieve the star or top billing category, what would you define that as? And you mentioned a little bit about long experience
recognizable,
and exposure.
over 100 feature films. But you know, it's unique because I was walking to a grocery store and I seen this little 6-year-old girl with her mother. She had twins. I'm casting a film called Spy Games, and I says, I think she can act with a children's starring role. So after I told her I think I could put her daughter in a film, and she was ready to hit me with her purse. She meant Hector, the producer and director, and she signed a contract for 3 weeks of work as a star, not a co-star, but as a star, a 6-year-old girl that just got right off the streets, didn't even know she could act, but went right in front of over 300 other kids. When she got in front of that light, she hit. She wasn't scared, she wasn't nervous, and we start shooting that in 3 weeks, and she's got a starring role from a complete unknown.
Isn't that the exception, though, rather
That's
than
the luck? That's the luck of the tide.
Generally, how it works.
That never ever seems to happen, but everybody will be hearing about this little girl. She's going to be a little star, and you never know how it works.
All right,
but then again, we go to David and Fatima, where I put Tony Curtis and Martin Landau, an Academy Award winner, in a feature film.
Now they would be considered top billing. Top billing,
yes. Tony Curtis, who doesn't know, Tony Curtis was the highest paid actor in 1957, and he could have got the Oscar if it wasn't for his main competitor there. They say they chopped the Oscar in half and split it.
All right. Let's go into the top billing star category again. Let's recap that. That apparently is one of the more important features in casting because, as you said, that can lead into financing, that can lead into distribution, and that can lead into
franchising a part two for their feature film, or running their TV series again and again and again for more episodes. If you do not have a name in your picture, you'll have about a 5% chance of actually making it
on
distribution. But you'll get a 95% overall chance of marketability depending on the genre of the picture and depending on the rating. The best.
All right, we'll talk about rating in a minute, but let's kind of recap because this is an important category. You did mention that star top billing is defined as somebody who's recognizable. Now, recognition means that they've had a lot of exposure either on TV or through feature films and so on. And as part of the recognition,
they won an Academy either.
Okay,
they won an award
as recognition. Right. But you also mentioned that if they had appeared in maybe 100 features, that probably would have given them the recognition as a top billing or feature
close to it,
category, right?
They're in the numbers.
Is there any other definition or distinction that a star top billing would have? I've just given you two. Is there anything else?
No, they could be famous in the music industry, like LL Cool J, which my friend John Morrissey put him in Kingdom Come, with Whoopi Goldberg and LL Cool J. So he's made a switch from the music industry, which was a very big name, just like working with Eddie Griffin, as we're switching from the music or as for acting into the music, or vice versa from the music into acting.
Now I understand what you're saying. So you can achieve a recognizable status if you were famous in another industry.
Correct.
Music, or maybe
like
athletic
Brinkley,
ability
like
or something else, or
modeling.
That's
a major model might make the transform and switch into acting, which is already a public figure that works as well as into features and TV shows.
So actually we have four categories of a top billing star. If they're recognizable, if they've had maybe 100 feature films, they've had fame in the music industry, or they're in the modeling business.
Correct.
And in one of those, they've achieved a certain level of distinction.
Publicity.
Or publicity, as you say, that makes them a star in top billing.
Exactly.
Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, I think the viewing audience has that clear, because it's really such an important and vital aspect of the overall industry. Am I right, Joe?
You're
That's
correct.
really probably one of the
100%
key
correct.
features there. All right, let's talk then about how, let's take the star top billing category.
Okay.
And then you did mention a little earlier about marketing and ancillary rights.
Okay.
How important is the star to say ancillary rights?
It means everything. Everything's turning into like sell on demand and DVD. I mean, if it doesn't make it theatrical, those are the next biggest markets in the world. And if you don't have a recognizable name, I don't think many people are going to want to watch unknowns on their cell phone or go to rent out a video at, let's say, Blockbuster or 2020. They're not going to be applicable to rent out a video when there's no names in it, unless it's like The Secret, which is very, very
all right.
good story.
Now, you did mention about theatrical. Now, there's theatrical releases which are in theaters, right, throughout the country, domestically and internationally, worldwide. And then you have features of DVD sales. And what else? You have DVD sales.
Without a top billing or recognizable name, who would want to take the chance of gambling and spending millions of dollars and putting a feature in a theatrical, which it costs for prints and ads before everything turns digitally? And who would want to take that risk? So what they usually do is normally go right back to DVD. And if there's not big names in it, then it's only going to be worth TV rights worldwide.
Okay, so we have the certain categories here. Let's break them down again. One is theatrical.
Correct.
A top billing star more than likely will provide enough theatrical releases.
Correct.
All right. Also, a top billing star will give you a better chance to have the movie sold and or distributed without having to go and emphasize DVD sales.
For also TV shows, a good showrunner would look at a pilot that was shot, and if you shoot a pilot with a name in it, the showrunner would take your project to the major networks, ABC, CBS, and NBC, and so on. Without a big name, a showrunner wouldn't even want to waste his time promoting your project for a full TV series.
And that, again, is on the premise that you have a top billing or star character in what you're doing.
Right. Now, a few exceptions were Sex, Lies, and Videotape. That was a big gamble between AMC, which did release Sex, Lies, and Videotape, which didn't have any recognizable talent, but now everybody's a star in it. And they gambled $3 million off and rolled it off to $30 million.
All right, so there are some exceptions to the general rules, right, Joseph?
Oh, yeah, the Blair Witch Project. That was just another miracle.
All right.
That was like a miracle. It's like rolling a dice and winning a billion.
But how likely are those really to succeed?
Never to happen.
In the industry
You'll be
in general?
like to get struck by lightning. You'll have a better chance to be hit by lightning than winning the lottery.
So actually, the viewing audience is really to understand that the basic concepts that you're providing here today are really the general rules.
Exactly.
There are exceptions, but they're not likely to happen. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if you get hit by lightning or if you get struck, you never know. Or that 6-year-old girl I seen walking to the grocery store, she'll be hitting big.
But you've got her in the top billing star category.
Yeah, I got her in a star.
Which is generally not the way it works.
That's impossible to happen.
It's generally not.
I didn't even think she'd make it past Hector, which shoots 3 films a year.
But that's because you're controlling the project, right? If it were other than that, it would be at a different scene.
It would be completely different. It would be completely different.
All right, let's kind of get a handle on marketing before we complete everything. You did talk about ancillary rights.
Terrific.
And then,
ancillary rights are usually the cell phone, which is going to be the biggest hit of the century. There is nothing bigger that's coming out now is sell on demand through Blockbuster and a few other territorial corporations.
Now, you mentioned cell phone. Is that really part of the cell phone's video feature?
Oh, yes.
You think that's going to be a big part of ancillary rights?
Oh, yes. You could take a cell phone and you could download it on a chips. If I wouldn't show you right now, I don't think we have the rights. But all cell phones do have chips in them. You can download the programs, download them into your computer, and then copy them on a DVD and then bring them home and watch them at the evening.
And you're predicting, in terms of distribution, which we're kind of getting a little ahead of ourselves, that's going to be happening in the near future.
If you have top billing names in your project, it'll be a feature film or TV series, and if you want high recognizable recordability and major distribution, you have to go with top billing names. And if you do top billing names, then you have to abide by the Screen Actors Guild rules, which is they cost a little bit, 14.8% above the talent's wages. Plus, at the end of the picture, they want 5.2% on the first million and 4.6% after the first million, down to 3.6%.
That's a graduated scale.
The producers have to look very closely.
Okay.